All right, this is my third time recording this because I tried to do this completely unscripted. I fucking can't. I gotta at least have a little bit of a guideline. And let me tell you, all right, I'm I am the biggest Deftones fan, which is why it was so hard for me to do this and why it's been wrapped around my mind the fact that I need to get this over with and figure this out. But I'm gonna rank all the Deftones albums today from worst to best. I already got it listed right here because that part pretty much took the longest. It took me about 20 minutes to get down to this sort of narrow thing. I might change it on the fly. I hope not, because it's gonna make this shit so. I'm gonna start second guessing shit, but I'm pretty sure I got it down to something that I would be happy with for at least months to come, which might change later. But what the fuck ever. Um, so starting off, 10 albums, right? Let's just list them first. We got Adrenaline, Around the Fur, White Pony, Self-Titled, Saturday Night Wrist, Diamond Eyes, Koi no Yokon, Gore, Ohms, and Private Music, right? Consistent 10 albums over the last fucking 30 years, I think, coming up now. Um, I there really isn't another band with this much longevity. You know what I mean? It's mind blowing, and such a range of fans, right? But anyways, that's not important. You guys aren't here to hear me glaze Deftones unless you are. I'm sorry, that was the section. Here is um, my personal subjective ranking of Deftones albums, and not just subjective, but my word is law because I am the number one Deftones fan of all time. Anybody that doesn't agree with me is a poser, or fake fan, or is a new fan, or blah blah blah. I'm joking. But anyways, number 10, Private Music. Ouch. Ouch. I have the opposite of recency bias with this album. I listened to it a shit ton when it came out. I mean, let's see here. It came out 2025. Wow, that doesn't tell me much. Give me an actual. I think it was October, August 22nd. Close, very close, Damien. Very close. August 22nd. Um, I listened to it so much. I was working what seemed like hell at the time, but I was working by myself and I would just listen to this shit and it was fucking amazing. I would listen to it to and from work. It was a great. It's not a bad album by any means, but I mean it's walking with fucking giants here. Let's be honest. Um, it songs like Ectasis, fucking Infinite Source, CXZ. I love a lot of songs from this album. Cut Hands being a huge one out of it because it's the heaviest one, but that is what does it for me. That is the problem right there, is that it's just not heavy enough. Um, I know if you look into the stuff, Steph was battling, diabetes and didn't know about his diagnosis and was kind of working through that. So he had a lot less involvement on this album, and Chino kind of took head and all that. And I love Chino albums. Like Gore's, I mean, I guess it doesn't seem like I love Chino albums because it's like I got History on the bottom, but really I think the band and their best sound is when they're all working together. I think any band performs best in that mode, and this is just like the least amount of sort of contribution I've seen from Steph on an album. It seems like so this has to be without a doubt. I go just some people might have a different answer, right? Uh, I for one appreciate their experimental albums, and I I really like the heaviness. So just in my personal opinion, like I cannot rank Private Music higher than any other album just because the 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 lack of the heaviness and the lack of unity with the band. I guess we're including Steph, which I know shit was going on, but I mean, I can't lie. The music, it wears it on its sleeve. But anyways, number 9, the ninth best or second worst, if you will, Deftones studio album is, in my opinion, Gore, and this one really hurt me to put here because I absolutely love Gore. Gore for a very long time was it was just such a gift. It really is. Um, there's so much to it, which is why I put it above Private Music. Is just because Gore is definitely an odd album at times, and the sounds are odd and it sounds different, for the sake of being different, right? I remember them saying, if something sounded a little too straightforward, we turn it to the left a little bit, which is like, um, all right, interesting. Don't know why you do that personally. I feel like they've always made pretty straightforward, good songs. But at the same time, I feel like the lack of that sort of twisting shit up, switching shit up, is what made Gore better than Private Music. Private Music wasn't as good just because it was a little too straightforward, a little too, nobody was kind of getting in the way of anything. Which sounds funny because I'm sure a couple of years ago people were like, the problem with Gore is that it's weird. But really, it's what makes it stand. Being weird is better than being boring. I mean, that seems to be the bottom line here. I mean, so many good songs. I mean, personal favorites of mine are Acid Hologram, Doom User. I mean, L Merle. I don't know how the fuck to LMIRL, that one. Rubicon at one point was, Geometric Headdress. Every single one of these songs at one point I listened to deeply, and I found the magic within them, and I just really appreciated it. But just like with Private Music, it's Walking with Giants. There's so many more just better albums. This is a great album in my opinion, much better than Private Music, just for the risk taking and for the experimentation. But it just can't stand up to these other albums. And the next one, just I'd say slightly above it, is Saturday Night Wrist. This is another one that this one is actually a sleeper. Or I guess a lot of people's kind of it's properly rated within the community. Gore, I think, is underrated. Private Music might be overrated because of recency bias, but I don't know. I don't really talk about it too much with fans. I see a lot of people with the fucking hoodies because they're all new fans since 2020. They missed the Ohms merch drop. But yeah, truthfully, Saturday Night Wrist is, for those that actually listen, I mean, people understand, like, Hole in the Earth, Beware, Cherry Waves, fucking Kim Dracula is just actually top-notch bangers, undeniable. Oh, I guess now I'm looking at the track list. I guess the reason why I couldn't rank it any higher is just because it lacks consistency. It lacks consistency compared to other albums, and has a couple stinkers as opposed to other albums have like less good songs. This one has less good songs, not more but less, right? And that would be God. I love it starts swinging so strongly, right? But Xerxes, I'll admit, I'm not really, I could give two shits about, right? I think the first couple times listening to it, I was like, okay, this is neat, but it wore off quick. Pink Cell Phone, another one that is clearly a joke song, right? It wasn't even, I don't even know what the fuck it is about it, it was funny the first couple times, then now it's like, all right, it's it's there. Did it need to be on there for eternity? No, I don't think so. I don't think it needed to be on their album for the rest of the time, because it really does, I wouldn't say fuck with the longevity, but it definitely tarnishes the perfection of this album compared to the other ones that have such a flawless fucking track list. And then Revere, how does Revere go again? Yeah, that one's not terrible, but it wore off quick for me as well. But Drive is really the real culprit between these. Every other fucking, I'm not even gonna talk about Drive because I hardly listen to it. As soon as it starts, I'm like, I don't fucking. I guess I have it liked, so I liked it at one point, but like this is never one that I'm like, let me listen to it in its entirety. You know what I mean? So every other song on here is actually amazing, right? And I would go through and wholeheartedly say yes, Hole in the Earth, Rapture, Beware, Cherry Waves, Main, Cheat Code, I'm gonna call that, Rats, Combat, and Kim Dracula are all bangers. And Revere, I guess, slightly as well. And Combat, I'm seeing here, Combat and Rapture have 9 million plays, while the other ones have like 100 million, or some like 10 plus million. I'm like, I'm pretty blown away. I'm pretty blown away. I mean, Kim Dracula has 67 million plays, and Combat and Rapture have 9 million. That's insane to me. It has less than Up, Up, Down. It has less than Cheat Code. I said I was going to call it Cheat Code. It has less than Cheat Code. And that song's just fucking instrumental. Rapture, wow. Wow. These songs are so fucking underrated. I don't know. Anyways, number 8th album, Saturday Night Wrist. That's where it's staying. Actually, this will. Okay. I'm gonna say. I'm sticking to my guns here, right, with that ranking, but just slightly above it because it has less songs that are too easily skipped, right? The 7th best studio album from Deftones is Adrenaline, right? And I'm looking at the track list right now. No, it earned that spot. It doesn't have. It has. I think it has less peaks and less. Uh, you know, it's more consistently in the middle, right? So it has less bad tracks, but less amazing tracks, right? Um, it's kind of ranked 7th. The middle of the pack, middle of the road. You kind of it comes down to style preference. Um, I like the heaviness of Deftones, like I said. So I can't help but put it above Saturday Night Wrist. I love the peaks and valleys and the push pull feel of Saturday Night Wrist, but this truly is more consistently better. And so many hits. I mean, fucking Bored, 7 Words, Root, Engine Number 9. And then there's like sleepers as well, like Fist and Fire Real, 1 Week, Nosebleed, Birthmark. Like I've practically listed every track by now, but like the only ones I could care less for, I think, are Lifter and no, Minus Blindfold is still pretty good too. They have like this such a weird creeping up on you feeling, it's like like anxious, like ready to burst, you know what I mean? Pause. But just like this tension in a lot of these songs. It's actually insane. I never really realized these songs really do have such a dynamic with tension, and I fucking love it. It's unfucking deniable. So yeah, I think that rightfully earned its place above Saturday Night Wrist, and hence every album before that. But Adrenaline, 7th studio album, 7th best studio album by Deftones. But next is probably a shocker to a lot of people because I know they expected it earlier, and Adrenaline I'm sure was a shocker because people expected it higher. But it's new metal fucking. I think it's basic. I think it's new metal. That's why I didn't rank it higher. I guess I shouldn't forget to mention that I didn't rank it higher because it's too infancy of the sound. They just do so much better later, and a sound like the new metal sound just became so washed out. I can't rank it higher. Anyways, 6th studio album. People are gonna be pissed. I feel like this is where I'm gonna start pissing people off. Ohms, 6th best studio album from Deftones. Ohms, right? And let me get there. I gotta go all the way from the bottom to the fucking top. Damn near. I like Ohms, like Gore. I feel like it does a lot of things that Gore did, but better. Like it was like a correction, right? So that screwy shit they kind of went less on. They leaned into the heaviness, right? Like they did on Gore, and they just buttoned shit up a lot tighter, and which is blowing my mind because there's like now that I'm looking at the plays, like a lot of these songs deserve so much more plays, but whatever. Yeah. I guess is this album underrated? I think Ohms might be underrated, at least by the plays. It definitely deserves more love. It is so heavy and so dynamic. It feels like the second coming of Koi no Yokan, but with the experimentation of Saturday Night Wrist, right? It's actually insane that I'm actually blown away just learning that I mean the only forgettable song on here that I have it liked, but off the top of my head I can't sort of remember how it goes is Headless. Right? Yeah. Yeah. I love Link is Dead. Urantia, Error, Mathematics. Yeah, yeah, this album is amazing. This album is easily better than Adrenaline because there's so many peaks, man. Like every single one of these songs has such great peaks, and the energy is just so fucking insane. Like they're on a million, dude. Like I can't even begin to describe the Abe is pulling fucking weight on this on this album, this whole album, because there's so much energy. This album really feels like what Private Music was trying to be, or I guess that makes sense because it's a follow up. But like, this is just so much better. I mean, it feels so much louder than every album before this, besides maybe Adrenaline. But what it has over Adrenaline is sort of that polish, you know. Um, it sounds so much heavier than every album before, owing to the 8 string, right? Except, yeah, it's heavier than Gore, because Gore did not have enough Steph contributions. This one I feel like has hella Steph contribution. That's what makes it so much better. Because like I said, you need everybody there to kind of make it what it really should be. You know, that's when the music's sounding its absolute best. But yeah, man, I can't lie. This one is it's getting better and better going through them backwards. I'm so glad I did this because it really does show me, like it puts it into perspective. Like this one is definitely better than the last one, and hence the rest of the album so far. Like, yeah, Ohms is quite a banger. I guess I should name a couple favorites. I think Pompeii is actually super underrated because why does it have 9 million fucking plays? That's the second lowest on the album. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. And Link is Dead has the least amount, and I love Link is Dead. It has like the boom, and then the drums, and it's just na. I can't even get into it. This Link is Dead is so good. Ohms is great, title track, you know. Ceremony pops into my head often. Like just the fuck, how does it go? hold on. I'd seen the music video. I've cried to that music video. I was on drugs, but whatever. Great fucking album. I'm not even trying to remember how Ceremony. Fuck. Damn it. I don't want to edit, so I'm not going to take too much long of a pause. But Orantia, amazing. Error. Yeah. Spell of Mathematics. Yeah, there's so many good peaks on this. Like this is, god damn it. Now I'm wondering if it's better than Koi, because alright, I'm gonna stick to my guns. No, this is most definitely, damn, we almost had 2 fucking ties and I didn't even know it. But yeah, Ohms better than Adrenaline. The reason why I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at Koi, and I might flip these because Ohms is actually really good, and I'm just barely remembering how good it really is. But yeah, the 6th best studio album must be Ohms. Sorry, blocked out. The 5th best studio album, it would seem to me, is Koi no Yokan. Damn, this is a tough one because now I'm looking at this versus Ohms. Honestly, at this point, it might be a tie. Koi no Yokan is obviously very much higher rated. But it's almost the same. Maybe that's why people don't like Ohms as much, because it's almost the same. I don't care. I love it all. In fact, the only song let's see. Yeah, the only song I dislike on Koi no Yokan would be What Happened to You. Which I'm not the only one, because it's on like the lower half. Entombed. People are going to hate me for that. I do not like Entombed as much as most people. And I don't care. Yeah, I had to muster the strength to say that I don't like Entombed as much as I wouldn't say it's as good of a song as people say. Like right here, it is the 2nd most streamed song on the album. Hogwash. It is the 2nd worst song on the album. Sue me on that. We'll rate that later. We'll rank that later. I don't give a damn. All right. It's not my cup of tea. Um, but anyways, is it better than Ohms? All right. This I need to rectify right now. I need to figure it out if I made the right decision. Swerve City, check. Yeah, that's better than anything on Ohms. Unfortunately, Romantic Dreams is. Yeah, yeah. You know what? 2 songs in. I love Poltergeist Graphic Nature. Yeah, it just has this more of an edge compared to Ohms, I guess. Ohms is like a happy end of a Disney movie sort of sound. Um, Kono Yokon is like Kono Yokon is insane, man. I mean, he breaks off with Swerve City and Romantic Dreams. Yeah, yeah. Chino was in his fucking bag in this one. Leathers. I just think songs like Graphic Nature is good, but it lets me down because it's like it should have peaked harder, right? When it comes to the sound and Gauze. Like I feel like Graphic Nature and Gauze I was a huge fan of, but it's like I definitely was a huge fan of, but it's like they need to they don't have that sort of huge climactic part like a lot of songs have. Like Swerve City has the yeah. I think this whole album kind of has less climaxes compared to the further albums in the future that are just like have this culmination of sound that's so satisfying. Um, but yeah, you know what? I'm satisfied right there because I think the riffs on this are just so fucking good. Tempest, yeah, Tempest is right. Wait, yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, this is where it belongs. Um, Next album, the fourth best Deftones album. I feel like this might ruffle some feathers. To be completely honest, I don't care. Right? Um, it's Deftones. It is Deftones' self-titled album. That is my absolute. It was my absolute favorite, but this is my fourth best Deftones album if I have to look at it concretely with the actual everything considered. Yeah, it's self-titled. Definitely should it's definitely better than Koino Yokon. Why do I say this? Just because the emotional depth that this album has. Songs like Hexagram are so aggressive, reminiscent of Around the Fur, yet they're so emotional. Like the emotion that I'm getting from Hexagram would be excitement, positivity, joy, excitement. Yeah, those sort of positive feelings. But it's like so, like a lot of it feels fake all the time when songs try to do like this happy feeling, but this just feels so pure. It's like yeah, it's so triumphant. And then you got songs like Needles and Pins, very very provocative. Same with Lucky You, so provocative. Um, and then you got Minerva, soul crushing, bro. Soul fucking crushing. Like an anvil on your chest. Heavy, heavily soul crushing. And then you got the real heavy tracks, the aggression heavy tracks. When Girls Telephone Boys and Bloody Cape. God, I love those fucking songs. I can't even. People don't understand how much those fucking songs mean to me, man. And Good Morning Beautiful is like it's desperate. There's a desperation in there. Death Blow. God, talk about soul crushing. Death Blow. Oh God, Death Blow and Battle Axe both like heavy, yet cry your fucking eyes out music. Like more than Minerva. Like I don't know why Minerva is ranked as high as it is, but Death Blow and Battle Axe are definitely so much more emotional and deep. But like I said, I'm getting off track. Self-titled is so much more deeply emotional and complex than Koi no Yokan, without a doubt. And I guess the only reason why I didn't rank it higher is just because shit, man. Well, how about I just get into them? Uh, the third best Deftones studio album is Around the Fur, and I'm pretty proud of this. Around the Fur for a long time, you would ask me, it would have been my fucking favorite. I swear to fucking God. It would have been like, personally, I've been like, mine says White Pony, but heart says Around the Fur. That's what I would have told you for sure. Or Diamond Eyes, right? Because Diamond Eyes is up there. Which is down to our last three. But I have to say, Around the Fur, better than everything so far, right? Because it's so raw. It's so pure. It's adrenaline, but polished. That's, oh, fucking bug. Adrenaline, but polished, right? It's so heavy. It's so angry. It's so happy. It's so energetic. Like the words don't summarize, man. This album is insane. It is absolutely crazy. Like My Own Summer's a hit. 600 million fucking plays, man. Be Quiet and Drive, 500 million. God. Around the Fur, like the songwriting, so amazing. Like the composition of it all. The Lotion, Head Up, MX. God, that guitar tone, like I can hear it. Like the MX drop is burned into my brain. You got Mascara, like soul crushingly upsetting, emotional, but heavy music, right? Rickets is so heavy. Labia is so heavy. Die the Flu is so heavy. Even if I like those three less, still so fucking heavy. God. This belongs here. Number 3. Best fucking Deftones album, without a doubt. I don't think there's any disputing it. I don't think anybody will even... I don't think I have to defend myself on that take. Right? So, that's that. That's where it remains. Second best studio album. Diamond Eyes. This is where it gets really, really close to the wire, right? But you already know what number 1 is at this point if you know Deftones albums. But, right, Diamond Eyes, second best. It is absolutely, it is like Koi no Yokan, but better. And it's just because of the songwriting, the push and pull, the dynamics, the ability to go from so high and so low so smoothly. Like I mean energetically, like that balance. Like they have such a leash on the energy in this album, this whole album, that it's fucking insane for it not to be better than everything else, just because there's so much restraint and control and aggression at separate times in a deeply operatic orchestrated way. You know what I mean? Like, water break. But like, there is not a single bad song on this album. I think I Care Less for Royal or This Place Is Death, but This Place Is Death is still peaking, still minging, fucking minging, cut, fucking from the top. Like, you start with Diamond Eyes, like that's amazing. God, I listened to this album very recently, like through and through, and I was like, oh my God, I remembered. I left this album to go listen to other ones, but I have since remembered why this album is so highly fucking rated. I mean, Sex Tape has 500 million plays, and it's like 15 years newer than Around the Fur, and it's tied with those top tracks. That's the highest one. Which is kind of abysmal, because I really do think a lot of these are better than Around the Fur. But hey, Around the Fur's had more time to stack those numbers. 976 Evil, like, shit, man. Risk is great. Sex Tape is insanely good, even despite how overrated some may say it is. Rocket Skates is so good and so heavy. You've seen The Butcher, man, like, alright. Command Control, again, so heavy. Prince is great. Like, so many underrated tracks on this, you know what I mean? But the whole album as a whole is just... Is it underrated? I think it's perfectly rated. I'll say that. Right. Diamond Eyes is, without a doubt, the second best Deftones album, which is crazy, because it's like 15 years after they started even dropping albums. They hit. This is like a second peak for them. It's so amazing. I love this. I love this whole thing. But anyways, the number 1 best Deftones studio album. My heart chose. I let my heart take the lead on this, which now I might be regretting it. No. fuck it, sticking to my guns. Best studio album by Deftones is White Pony. White Pony is the GOAT. White Pony is absolutely... Let me see if I could find the original track list. Yeah. The one without a... Back to School, right? Back to School isn't a bad song, but I'm like, hey, that wasn't the intended part, right? You know, that was corporate fucking greed getting in the way, right? But anyways, yeah, Fate to Sarah, starting with that. I think I would have liked the album more if it started with, or this song Fate to Sarah more if it started with that. God, this album's so good. I mean, this is monumental. This was the huge shift in their sound that kind of pushed them towards, you know, there would be no self-titled without White Pony. There would be no Diamond Eyes without White Pony. There would be none of, you know, there would 7 of these albums wouldn't exist without White Pony. Like, this is Knife Party, you know, Change is great, you know, of course, still to this day, like, it's timeless, it can't be bad, you know, it's just one of the most perfect songs, perfectly constructed songs ever. And then Digital Bath, same thing, like, it's just so amazing. Elite, so fucking heavy. That's another thing that's so insane about this album. It's basically Diamond Eyes, but before Diamond Eyes, you know? This was the first peak. This is what... fucking hair in my mouth. This is pretty much what got them to where they are in the first place. We might not know who they are without this exact fucking album right here, man. At least I wouldn't, because I wasn't around when all the old shit came out, you know? I can't say for sure. Teenager, you know, some synth pop. RX Queen is so eerie and so rhythmically driven. And Elite and Korea are so fucking heavy. Knife Party is so left field for them. Like the singing, you know, and then the operatic screaming. God, Passenger, James Maynard Keenan, and then the outro with Pink Maggot. Pink Maggot is like, it's so oddly soul crushing, you know? It's like nostalgic, you know, or reminiscent on a journey, you know. I can't begin to describe how it makes me feel, you know. Street Carp is also so fucking heavy. Almost forgot. But yeah, like every single song on this album is good. I think my least favorite, God, I could get on my guitar and play every single one of these except maybe Fate to Sierra and Teenager, of course, because that's sampled. But Fate to Sierra is the only one that I didn't learn, but still, it's fucking, like, thinking of it more as an intro track is so much, it changes it so much in my mind, you know. And Back to School is a good song, but, you know, yeah, let's take it at face value. What is the album supposed to be? But Fate to Sierra as the intro is actually insane. And then those fucking snare cracks, dude, just God. It's a good entryway, and then they go into fucking, like, it feels a little reminiscent of Around the Fur. That's perfect, right? That was the last album before it, and then they go into Digital Bath, right? And then you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? I'm not against it. You know, some people might have been, but people are like, I'm not against that, but that was odd. That was different. And then Back to Elite, boom, give you more what you want, you know. And then RX Queen, more of that eeriness, some synths and samples, synths and simples. And then Street Carp, so heavy. Teenager, again, what is that? And then Knife Party, what is that? And then 2, you know, solid songs, and Change, and it's like, wow. And then Pink Maggot, like, really leaning into that sort of new sound that they really fucking fleshed out. But yeah, that's got to be it, dude. I'm completely satisfied with that ranking. I thought at some points I'd be second guessing myself, but no, that is without a doubt my best way to quantify the worst to best albums. And sorry to anybody I pissed off because of my sort of unique taste and take on Deftones, but hey, that's the verdict right there. Nobody can argue with that, man. That is without a doubt the only right answer to this whole fucking debate. I'm actually super proud of that. But yeah, I think I'm obligated to say if you enjoyed hearing me fucking scream at myself and self argue and moan and bitch about Deftones, like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. You know, obligatory stuff. Um, but yeah, if you even stayed this long, I appreciate it. Thank you. I know this is a little. If you're here for the usual shit, which isn't many people, I imagine, um, this is so left field. But this is something I'm hugely passionate about, among other things. So I was like, you know what, this is a good way for me to kind of make this my own, like it should be, you know. But yeah, thank you. I love you. Bye bye. Spaceball.